Hey, welcome back. Got a special one for you today. I know I haven't recorded in about a week. Life happens sometimes. Work gets busy. Had one of my guys on personal time off, so I was having to make up for stuff, and these things take so long to record, process, and everything. And hell, it was too late at night to do it. I know I've skipped a couple of live streams I usually jump onto, but hey, that's the way it goes. But he'll be back next week and we'll get back to normal. And we're going to get into this very special review right after this. All right, so what's going on, man? Got empty bottles sitting around here. I've got a Bulleit 10 bottle. It's about half full. This is the follow-up to the Infinity bottle. So if you haven't watched the video yet, go back and watch the one on Infinity bottle. If you already know what it is, I didn't give you any groundbreaking new information. But what I did do was my first combine just about equal parts. So I combined them. It's about a third, and a third, roughly, of this is Bulleit 10. We have some Jefferson's Ocean, aged at sea, which, by the way, I think is kind of overpriced for what it is. And we have Buffalo Trace, because it got down to about right in here somewhere. And I went on ahead and poured it in. It's been over a week. These have been mingling in the bottle. And this, to be just totally honest with you, is my first time trying anything from an Infinity bottle. I'm only going to pour myself a snifter. I'm not going to do the here's one in front of you thing. Oh, and you can see I have an Elijah Craig top on a Bulleit 10 bottle. I did that on purpose so that I would know this is not the typical Bulleit 10. This is my Infinity bottle. Some people put Infinity symbols on them and things like that. I am keeping a document on the Mac about, a little bit sweet, about what I'm keeping in there. And I'm not measuring, I'm not keeping ounces or anything like that. It's roughly a third, and a third of these three. So this is my first time trying an Infinity mix. Bourbon does not go bad in the bottle. I know I've said that on several videos before. It may lose some of its potency. If there's too much air in the bottle, it could lose some of its notes, or they may change just slightly. It's very nominal, but it's not going to go bad on you. You can find bottles, even if they're, half full or whatever, and you knock the dust off of them, there's nothing wrong with that bourbon in that bottle. It's not like it's going to sit there and go bad. Really decent legs on here, but we know the legs of all three of these. So it's just a mix. It's a combination of. So let's see what we get off the nose on this thing. Okay. Wow, that is nice. It is a pretty good little mix of the caramel, vanilla, fruits. I'm getting a little of that sensation that I would get off of Jefferson's Ocean. I'm certainly getting some of I guess more what I call raw notes of the Buffalo Trace. Yeah, there's a little pepper in there, and I don't think I got pepper off of any of these individually. But it's like a fresh cracked pepper note that I'm getting off of it. Like I said, decent legs, good fat trails coming down from where I swirled it. They're hanging there good too. They're not just rushing down. They're pretty slow and fat. So let's see what the palate does. Of course, I don't give a lot of notes off the first. Get that washed all around. Wow, no heat off that at all, hardly. Yeah, good smoothness to it, good creaminess to it. Now I appreciate blended bourbons. Things like Old Elk and Breckenridge and Barrel Bourbon. Those are decent blends. And even Four Roses Small Batch is a blend of Four Roses bourbons. Some different rye counts and things like that in the mash. But wow, definitely. I'm going to start giving a few more notes off the palate here. Yeah, get that washed around. I think it tames some of the sweetness up the middle. I think it's, now this is not as sweet, the Bulleit 10. It's aged a little more. Buffalo Trace doesn't give you quite that, but I think this is pretty sweet on its own. But wow, I'm getting a good little mix there. And I'm getting those spices. I'm getting a little spice. And I don't remember any high rye counts in the bash on any of these. Now, of course, bourbon, 51% or more corn. Typically, it's going to be around the 60, 63 mark on a lower corn bourbon. And then they'll either put wheat, toasted barley, and rye. Those are your three primary secondary grains, besides corn. So I don't remember any of these having, much of a rye in them. Like I say, too, I don't look them up. I don't dissect them. I don't look for other people's notes individually. No one can review this but me, because unless you go out and get these three bourbons and mix the exact amounts, in which I didn't even measure, I can't even tell you what they are. Wow, that is pleasant. That is really, really good. And I'm glad I tried the Infinity bottle. And I'm glad that, I have something to do besides just try to kill a bottle when it gets down low, put it in here, let it mingle for a while, come up with my own personal blend of things. And it's basically just whatever I'm knocking down toward the bottom. But yeah, it's a nice, now, of course, all three of these stand on their own as a decent bourbon. I wouldn't put trash bourbon in my Infinity bottle. I won't do that. And though now again, when I say I've never met a bourbon I didn't like, I'm talking about the ones that follow the rules. Okay. 51% or more corn in the mash, aged, for at least 2 years in new American oak barrels that have been charred on the inside to a certain degree. There's different levels of char you can put on them. But typically what you're going to see is they age them for 4 years or more. Used to, if it were over 2 and under 4, you had to put the age statement on the bottle. I think they've relaxed that a little bit now. But still, typically, you're going to see 4, 6, 7 year aging on, man, that's some good legs, on the bourbons. And the ones that I talk about being like a trash bourbon are the ones that try to use some kind of pressure cooker or something to speed up the aging process. You can't beat nature. Okay, you're just not going to do it. And it's going to pull out too much of the bitters. It's going to be a really thin whiskey. You're not going to get the good legs on it. You're not going to get the tongue coating. You're not going to get a good finish on it. Speaking of finish, let me try this one more time. Yep. I'm getting a little spice kick on the finish back there. Maybe some allspice or something, coming out in the back that I typically would look for in a rye, but I am getting some nuttiness off the palate as well. Now, again, it's going to be very hard for anyone out there to duplicate this, but really what I'm trying to say is don't be afraid of the Infinity bottle. It's working out. I really enjoy this. It's working out really great for me so far. And, again, I'm not going to put the subpar stuff in there. I'm going to keep it, moderate to, but a good low end, a higher of the low end to the moderate bourbons. Again, I think Jefferson's Ocean is overpriced. I think it's probably worth about 50 tops. That would be my guess. I don't care if it's rocked around on a boat or not. Didn't do much for me, the Jefferson's makes different bourbons for a lower price point that I think are just as good or better. But there is a cost associated to loading barrels on a boat and taking it up back and forth across the equator several times. You know, I mean, but I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it did anything. I think it's hype. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Good mix here. And I'll continue to review and bring you more videos as I get more into the mix. But with that, as always, please like and subscribe. Hit that bell down there for notifications, and I promise I'll keep bringing you these videos.